This video, we're going to discuss the searchlight and search beam behaviors because they do go hand in hand. This actually comes to us as a video request that I got recently, so shout out to him. But he was asking me, how do I use these two behaviors? He couldn't quite work it out. So that's what we're going to demonstrate today. So I've set up a little scene here. I'm going to sneak on to this construction site and see what I can find. Maybe loot some valuable construction materials. But you can see that the owner of the site has set up a little security system here. That little searchlight is panning back and forth, and I suspect that if I get within range of that and it spots me, it's going to set off an alarm. So I got to be really careful. But I'm just going to try anyways. I'm just going to maybe sneak through here, and then when it turns, let's try to sneak underneath it. Oh, no, it still spot me. See, and when it spots you, it sends off that alarm, and then it'll also kind of point directly at you. So even if you're underneath it, if you're within range, it'll spot you and trigger the alarm. So that's how the searchlight and search beam work. But let me show you how to set those up, because that was kind of the big question. Oh, that's bright. I'm gonna look at it from over here. So here's the object that we put the searchlight on. And that's really anything you want. It's going to oscillate by itself based on the settings that you give it. So whatever it is that you have to use as a searchlight, use that. I got this searchlight from somebody else, so I can't really share it. I don't have a link or anything for you. But really anything will do. I'm sure you'll find something in Sketchfab or whatever that'll suit your purpose. And you have the prompt text, which is what it's going to say if the player is spotted by the searchlight. And then the scan range is in units. So in my case, I did 600 units from the searchlight. Anywhere in its search radius, that's what is going to detect the player. And that's why when I was below it, I was within 600 units, even if the searchlight wasn't shining directly on me. So play around with those numbers and play test a lot, because it may not work out precisely the way you intend. And if you want the player to be able to get past this light, like sneak through it like I did, you might want to dial that back a little bit. So just bear that in mind. You have the scan radius, which is the oscillation, right? So in my case, if you say from here to here is 180 degrees, I did 125 degrees. So it starts here and rotates 125 degrees, and then it comes back. And it just does that same sweeping motion back and forth. That's the radius of the oscillation. Then you have the scan speed. So that's just how fast is it going to oscillate, which honestly 1 was the slowest speed. So that's probably what you want in this case, but kind of depends on what you're trying to do with it. Then you have the alarm. Is it on? Is it off? Now you heard it buzz. That's not what that means. It's not the sound. Is it going to play a sound? We'll get to that later on. The alarm is for, is it going to alarm NPCs that are in the area? So if I had guards posted around here and the alarm went off and I had that set to on, then it would sound an alert to those NPCs, and those alerts, those NPCs would come running towards the sound of the alarm. And that's what the alarm range is for, is to say, okay, if you're going to turn that alarm on, how close does that NPC have to be in order to hear that alarm and come running? So if you have it off, it doesn't really matter, but if you have it on, then that's the range, the radius of alertness that'll go out. The visibility has to do with the object. So is that object that's oscillating and shining the beam, is it visible? Maybe you don't have an object that looks like this that you want to use. Maybe you just want there to be a light, and that, and that's all. Maybe it doesn't need to be visible. You could turn that off and just say invisible. And in that case, you could honestly use any object you want, because it would be invisible. But in my case, I had a nice object, so I went ahead and kept it visible. Then we have the sound slot 1. Now remember that the sounds are always described here in the description, and I always rely on that to remind myself what sound goes to what. So sound 0 is the scan loop. I didn't really have a good sound for this to sound like a a buzz or some kind of mechanical oscillation sound. So I just left it blank. I don't think it was really hurting the quality of the video for that. So I just left that empty. But I did do an alarm sound, which is the error buzz. So that is right here, the alarm loop. So when the player is detected, what sound does it make to alert the player, hey, you've been detected? So that's just a little buzz sound that I found in the sound file somewhere. And then also there's the damage sound. Now that has to do with the health of the object that you're applying this behavior to. So in my case, I didn't bother with this because I didn't have a gun and I didn't shoot the object, but I could have shot the object out. Maybe I wanted to shoot the light out and disable it. In that case, what I would want to do is first I'd go here to the developer settings of the object and I would give it the strength that it should have, how many hit points. So maybe 100 hit points or something like that. And then if I shot it with a gun and I depleted its hit points, that would destroy this object and then it wouldn't be operable anymore. So that's what that's for. And if that's the case and you shoot the thing out and destroy it somehow, what sound does it make when it gets destroyed? That's what that last sound is for. So now we have the searchlight in operation and it's oscillating back and forth, but we don't have a beam yet. So what we want to do is we want to add a little searchlight here. It doesn't really matter where you position this. It doesn't have to be like in front because it's going to detect which object it needs to belong to and then just kind of follow along its path. But you just add like a little light globe like this here. And then in the color palette section, you turn it into a searchlight object like that. That's how you get those. Let me just delete those. So this behavior, the search beam, goes onto the globe. All right, so there's search beam. And really it's pretty simple. You have the beam range, which is just how far is that beam going to shine out. And then the object that it belongs to, right? The beam object name. So in other words, the searchlight's name, right? In my case is just called searchlight. So I just put that reference here and that way it knows, okay, follow the path of this object. And then it just kind of oscillates along with the searchlight. So that's how those two work in conjunction with one another. So hopefully that makes sense and answers all of your questions. If you guys enjoyed the video or if you learned anything new, please be sure to click the like button down below. If you have a video request like this, don't be afraid to ask. I'm happy to help if I can. If you're new here or if you just haven't subscribed yet, would love to have you stick around. And lastly, if you'd like a notification for whenever a new video is posted, just click the bell icon and that'll let you know when a new video is ready. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hey, don't forget there's a written guide for every behavior, including ones I haven't yet covered on this channel. And if you want to learn some more, why don't you check out this video next.